Welcome, spooky friends. Are you ready for Halloween? Good, because today I am starting on my Halloween costume. First, I should show you the design. This year, we are going vampire, not witch. Shocking, I know. I'm surprised as well. So this is my design, and today we are going to be starting on the dress. So this costume is inspired by Gothic architecture, medieval clothing, and just a little bit of the elves from Lord of the Rings, as you can see. So she's kind of a vampire elf situation. We'll see if I wear the ears. But we're going to be doing a dress, a waspy corset, and one of those really fun blood drippy necklaces that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So this is going to be something totally new for me because I'm going to be making this dress out of stretch fabric. It's not something I've used before, it's not something I'm really familiar with, so I get to have this whole learning experience this year, which is a little scary and a little exciting. Since I've never done stretch sewing before, you're actually going to see me make two dresses in this video. One to show me the ropes and one out of the delicious velvet fabric that I have planned for this. So with that, let's go. Okay, so this is said delicious velvet, and then here is the trim that I'm going to use for the neckline. The pattern I am using for this is Vogue 9199, and I'm going to be using View B, or a modified version of View B, but lengthened, and with the sleeves that are like half, and then with like a big flowing sleeve going down. But first, I'm going to be using this green interlock cotton in View A to do my tester dress. So I have the pattern for View A all traced and cut out, so now I am going to cut out the fabric. Okay, so I've got the center front and side front pinned together. I'm going to baste along the seam and then I'm going to serge it. So I've got the center front and side front panels pinned and then basted together, as well as the back side and center back. So next step is to actually attach the pieces together permanently rather than just basting, which means using my serger, which is very exciting because I haven't really used it for anything except preventing fraying at this point. However, the first thing I need to do is change out the needles on my serger because right now they are, I think, either universals or sharps of some kind. And what that means is that they will in fact slice the threads of the knit and eventually cause it to have holes and maybe even unravel a little bit. So I will be switching my needle to these. They are a knit and stretch specific needle, so I have to do that, and then we're gonna do some serging, which is gonna be fun. So let's go. Now that I've got the front put together, it was time for the back. The first thing I did was make the shoulder stays, basically so that your shoulders don't stretch, because you want those to be a set width. I used some seam binding for this that I luckily had in a perfectly matching color from a previous project. And then I just pinned those on. And stitch them to the dress. Okay, so I've got it put together up to a point. I need to take in along here, like quite a bit, and then maybe here. This seems very loose. So I'm gonna mark where I want to take this seam in, and then where I want to take the underarm in, and adjust those, try it back on, and then this is gonna, well, maybe I'll just do the back, because this is gonna come in a little bit more because of the, this isn't the final seam, but it's like literally swishy so far. So we're gonna make those adjustments. So I did my adjustments off camera, and then I went ahead and finished the neckline with some bias binding as per the instructions. I also attached these sleeves off camera because, again, they're in the instructions, and if you really want to follow along with this pattern, you can do it by buying the pattern. Okay, so I've got my green dress done, which was my kind of test run for the whole knits concept, and I think it went pretty well. I kind of understand how everything works with it now, as far as like how much tension to use when you're like pulling the fabric out, and like how to use my serger properly, which is great. However, it's too big by like a good bit. So I'm gonna be going down 2 sizes. I really like this dress. I think it's really cute. However, again, it's just too big. So now that I have my test dress done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is working on the pattern for the final. And really all that means is tracing out that smaller size. I'm just going to trace it onto the same pattern pieces I've already traced and cut out, and just basically trim them. And then I'm also going to be adding some volume below the waist because I want it to be a little bit more dramatic. I think I've got the sleeve length correct. I just need to like, there's too much of it again. And especially for the type of sleeve I want, where it's like very fitted and then it falls, we need things to be tighter. We need it tight. I also needed to do a little bit of a sway back adjustment because this pattern was very loose on this like side back seam for me. That might partly just be because, again, I picked too big of a size. And really, according to the envelope measurements, I picked the correct size. They just have like a million inches of ease in this thing. And they did say it was fitted through the bust, but like, like that's, I'm not stretching this, like, so we gotta fix some stuff. I'm also going to be raising my neckline about 1 inch and then pushing this outward about 1/4 inch on each side because I want it to be reminiscent of the necklines from the dresses in The Lord of the Rings. That is definitely an inspiration here. And then once I've got the pattern done, we're gonna cut some stuff out, and I'm really excited about that because this velvet is lovely. So let's go. Okay, so I have my pattern all ready to go, except for one thing. I need to make the dangly bits for the sleeves that like hang down. So we're gonna figure that out. And you're gonna figure it out with me. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as kind of like a guesstimation. So we know that the sleeve is going to, basically this part's gonna go up to here. And then the actual sleeve is gonna start, and there's gonna be a seam. Well, there might be a seam, there might not. I haven't decided if I want to close the sleeves yet on the top, but theoretically there will be seam on the top. And I'm going to use this to figure out just how far I want these things to hang. I feel like 2 feet looks really fun and won't hang on the ground, which is an important thing. So I'm thinking 24 inches for the longest point. And they're going to make kind of like a curve up to this point. So the other measurement I need to know, aside from the length, is the length from my wrist to the actual like sleeve thing, which is 11 inches. So if we add seam allowance to that, then we've got like 12.5-ish. So I'm gonna make these weird little shaped things that are like, it's not a moon, it's like a partial circle that is 12.5 inches this way and then 24 inches long, and then it like meets in like a nice smooth curve. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that on paper, and then we're gonna see how that looks and kind of like how it feels on paper, and if that works then we're good. Okay, what do we think of that? I don't think that's dramatic enough. We're gonna add more length. So once I had all my pieces cut out, I pinned and basted the side front pieces to the front, and then they were ready to serge after that. Now to repeat the process with the back. First I had to attach the shoulder stays like I did with the green dress. We don't want our shoulders stretching out. Okay, so we have the back done, and we have the front done. So we're just gonna, and here we go. So now all I have to do is serge the side seams and the shoulders, and then we can start working on the neckline. Quick fit check. We've got fitted through the waist for the most part. It's a little loose, but I'm going to be wearing a waspy. And then back seam fits exactly where I wanted it to. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Being really careful not to pull on the armpits or the neckline. The train is pretty good. It's not the longest, but it shouldn't be anyway, so we're good. Time to attach this to this. So we get to trim this down to here. Once the neckline was done, it was time for my sleeves. So I cut those out. Then I pinned and basted the dangly bits to the actual sleeve head. And then I sewed the sleeve tube together. That basically did it. They're really easy, other than the hemming, which did take a really long time to do on these sleeve dangles, for lack of a better word. But I love them. Okay, so I have the body of the dress done. I have the sleeves made. So now I just need to attach the sleeves to the dress. So I'm gonna go ahead and, just like I've been doing with everything else, I'm going to first pin and baste them on and then serge them on. And once that's done, all I have to do is hem and add the trim, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we have very limited time left until I have to have all of this done. And that includes the corset that I still have to make for my next video, so yikes. We're gonna do what we can. As you can tell, there's not a great way to film serging sleeves on, just because you're working with such a small area. But I did serge on the sleeves. And then I attached my trim. And once all of that was done, it was time for the reveal.